In this video, we talk about Python in VS Code. As you can see in our class notes, this tutorial is based on the Getting Started with Python in VS Code. It's in the official VS Code document. You click a link and it'll bring you to this tutorial. It gives some details. However, we revised this for beginners. Okay. It's a tradition from C programming language. Usually your first program when you learn programming is write a code and it print hello world to the console. We call it hello world. And here in this picture, you can see the different versions of hello world from different programming languages. The left one is a C and C++, more complicated, and Java, even more complicated, and Python, it cannot be simpler. You just say print hello world, and that's it. You are done. So how could we execute Python code? When you install Python interpreter, it comes two things to. You can use two tools actually. You can use to run the Python program. One is called the Python interpreter. Another is called idle. Actually, let me demo this, and we see hello world with the built-in Python tools. Okay, here as a programmer we use a terminal. I use a special program. It's called iTerm in Mac OS. Okay, click this one. Give me a terminal. Usually I like to run the command in a specific folder. You should have this habit because it may read data, generate data, and you put in a special folder to manage it as a project workspace. I go to the temp and I make let's call it okay, test. Okay, and in the test we can run the Python 3. It will launch the Python 3 in the interactive mode. Okay, it shows the version. My version is 3.8.5. It will be updated quickly. So to see the hello world, you just type print hello world. Okay, pretty straightforward. When are you done, you type exit with a pair of parentheses, and it it closes the Python interpreter. Then we can run the idle. It's another tool come with a Python interpreter installation. It's a little bit better than the Python. It gives you, for example, you can open a file, write to a file, but basically it's the same thing. It gives you a interpreter. You can interact with Python interpreter. Hello world. Okay. Yeah, I put the exclamation at the end. See, we see the hello world. Again, can we exit? Yes, we will want to kill it. That's you run it from the tools come with Python. However, in our case here, we like to run the whole thing from a Visual Studio. Actually, the two tools you see, the idle 3 and the Python 3, they are also available in Visual Studio Code. So VS Code is all you need to develop a Python program, at least for the beginners. Okay. Again, it's always a good idea to create a new folder for your project. In this tutorial, we make a directory. It's called Hello World. Okay, you can see. Okay, in Mac, ls space -l, it means give a long list of the files in the current folder. It shows I have 2 directories. The D here means it's a directory. So I go to the hello world. It has auto completion. You type the H, E. You can have when you press a tab, it will give you the full path. So I'm in the folder. Actually, there are 2 ways to run VS Code. One, you can, of course, you can run from your graphic user interface GUI. Okay, you click here. I can open a new window. For example, from this here, usually you open the file. You open the folder. Open. In my case, it's in a temporary directory, hello world, and you use the hello world as your root, as the root of your project. Okay, it's one way you can open the hello world folder using the graphic user interface. Another one I like most is as a program. You create the folder, you change the directory to the folder. It's very naturally you run the command line, just called code dot. Code, this is a name to run the VS Code, and dot means you open the current folder as the project, the workspace root folder. It's same thing like you open folder from the graphic user interface. So that's we have this one open. Okay. So how could we run the Python code hello world inside the VS Code? Let's see if we, because it's empty, it doesn't know it's a Python project or just a web project. Usually a good idea is you can create a file. Okay, here you create a file. This one you create a folder. This one you refresh the view. This one you collapse the list. Okay, here I want to create a file. It's called hello dot. If it's a Python file, source code file, you end it with a .py. Okay, so the VS Code can understand this is a Python project. It will automatically try to load the Python interpreter here. If not, if it's the first time for some student, it will ask you to select the Python interpreter. You should select the 3.8 or the latest version. Okay, so now it understands this is a Python project. And at this moment, you can run the Python from the. You click here, it will give you some other tools, a console or like output debug console, and you have a terminal here. Okay, this terminal is the same thing like this one. If you run the terminal from here, operating system, it's the same thing you run from the VS Code here. For example, I can run the Python 3. I can open and I see the hello world. Okay. Yeah, just see hello world. So if you don't need it, you can close it. You close it, you click this button. Yeah, you can close the panel. Another thing you can do is, okay, so we close it. If you want it, you can open it here, terminal. So you can exit. Okay, that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is you can see it's a terminal. You can use terminal, split terminal. Okay, I just demo this one. Another one is you can run the idle 3 from the terminal. Actually, if you have a Python code here. I'm not sure. Do we have a, let's see if I can have the Python. Yeah, actually another one you can open the terminal is use it's like a upper row with a tilt. It's a backslash single quote quotation mark. You can open the terminal. Let me use a shortcut. Okay, it's actually command. No, it's a shift. Yeah, it's a shift control because the up arrow is in the control key. So I use a shift control uppercase and the back single quotation mark. In Windows, it could be different. I just let you know there's a shortcut to run this terminal. Okay. It's open a new one. The first one is here. Okay. Another thing is you should be able to run the idle 3 here, of course. Let me try here. Use a new window idle 3. It opens this one just like you open it from the operating system. Okay, that's the second way we can write. If we have a hello.py file, you can write the code print hello world exclamation. Okay, so you have this code here. You can run it directly. You see here, there's a Python file in terminal. Run Python file in terminal. It's the same thing like if you run this one. It shows the output. Okay, this one it give you the. Let me make it longer. Okay, it says the command you use to run the file. Okay, actually this button, the run button here, it's same thing like you type the Python 3 and you type the file name. Let me show you. It's like a Python 3. It's called hello.py because it's in the same directory. See the hello world. Okay, that's another way you can run it. However, you also should be able to run it. You right click. Okay, like here, you can run Python file in terminal. It says. Of course, you can. Because it's a Python file, you can find that there's a run menu here. You can run start debugging, run Python file. It runs a file in the debug mode. We will learn the debug mode with the next example. Okay, this is a debug icon. Go back to the file. Another one way to run the Python, it's very popular these days, is to use something what we call a Jupyter notebook. Instead of write a .py file, you create a file. It's called let's call it hello.ipynb. I would guess it means interactive Python notebook. And in this one, for this file, you can it's like a spreadsheet Excel. Okay, it divided the things into what we call the cells. Each cell can be in one of the two modes. This one is a mode. It has a run button here. It means this is in the Python mode, code mode. You can write code here. For example, print hello world. Okay, exclamation. You can also use okay, let me write another one. Okay. Then you run it. It shows the output. Here I shows it use a single quotation mark. Actually, for hello world, you can use a double quotation mark or triple quotation mark. For example, I want to explain this idea. The good thing about the interactive notebook is you can write the document and the code together, and you can run the document. You want to change it to the what we call the markdown syntax. Markdown syntax is pretty simple. You can just type anything. Okay, you can use double quotation to define a string. For example, I have this document. Then I add for example, now I want to type some code. I add a new cell. Okay, here I can say print hello world. Okay, you can see the code here. Right? There's a dash icon here. It means you never run this one. The number here means the sequence number you run the command. If I run this one, it will become number 2. So before I run this one, I want to add another document and another code. Double click. Okay. Use triple quotation mark for string. Then I add another code. Print. See the triple quotation. Hello world. You will know the difference in the future, in which situation we want to use which. But I like the single quotation mark because it has the least typing. So we have this one. However, it's just document and code. You are not sure. For example, instead of run this one, second we want to run this one. We want to test the code work. See hello world. See the same result. So that's the beauty of the notebook. Once you know the difference, the only 2 types of the cell, then you are in good shape. Actually, another thing you can do is, you see this one, it means run all the cells together. So far we run the first and the third code, but we didn't run the second piece of code. If you want to run everything, you can click this one. You see, now we run this one at the third. The 3 means we run this one at the third time. Fourth one, this one, and the fifth, this one, because we already run the 1, 2 before. Okay, so that's it. If you don't want this one, you can click it to click the trash can to delete a cell. Another thing you can do is you can have things here. You can move the cell up or move the cell down. Another thing you can do is, I think you can, this one is interesting. Here, for example, you are in this cell. The icon here means you can run all the cells below it. If I run it, it will become 6 and this one becomes 7. Let's try. Right, 6 and 7. We run this again. So it's pretty fun. Another thing you can do is, it's a new feature in Visual Studio. The start here means we haven't saved it. I use a Control S or Command S in Mac OS to save it. Command S here. In Windows, it could be Control S. Okay, so I save this file. So it doesn't have a start again. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can go back to the Python. In VS Code, it has a new function. It's called the interactive mode. So when you want to, this is a regular Python file. However, you can add cells to this file. You type a number, a percentage, hash. I think it's wrong. It should be number percentage. Yeah, let me fix my document. Okay, you see my document is also using the I did it using my VS Code. That's really it's very powerful. Here, let me fix it. It should be. You can tell I'm not familiar with this because it's a very new feature. It was developed by the Microsoft team recently. Command S, I fix it. So this is a preview. You can see the document here. It should be fixed. I close the button here. Yeah. So here you are in the interactive mode. Okay, you can print. Okay, hello. Just say hi. Okay. And here you can see it can you run cell, run below debug cell. It's very powerful. If I click run cell, it will give you the output in a different, what we call the interactive window. This one is like the IDLE, come with the Python. You can type the code here and you can see the output here. Okay. For example, print hi. Let me use this double quote. Yeah. If you enter, it will go to the next line. Print hello. To run the things, you use the Shift Enter. It will run the code you type. Print hi and print hi. It runs the program. Where's my? Yeah, it put the cells here. Interesting. Okay, that's how we run the CS Python code inside the VS Code. Of course, you can always go to the terminal and run the file from the terminal. So next one, I will demonstrate this. We use a package. The print, so far we only use a print function that's embedded in the Python interpreter. However, many functions are provided by third-party companies and other developers. To use this, you should use something what we call the packages. Okay, let me create a file. Okay, I call it plot.py. Okay, you can close the interactive window. This one, you can type the command here. It shows the output here. Okay. Now I have a plot.py. Okay. Let me copy the code here. It has some comments. A comment in Python, it starts with a number sign. That's the reason in the hello, this one is doesn't matter because it treats everything here as a comment. However, in Visual Studio Code, it interpreted as a cell. Actually, anything start with a hash sign will be treated as a comment and will be ignored by the interpreter. You don't need to understand this at this moment. You just know it's a function. It's used to plot the graphic in your computer. You need something called a matplotlib, and you also need another scientific computation package. It's called NumPy. We use these libraries to do something. Okay, we just now it plot the program, the diagram, and show the diagram. That's all you need to know. In my case, I have these two packages installed. But in your case, if you don't have this one, it will show some warning underlines here. It shows you should have this one installed. To install this one, you can go to the terminal here and run the command. It's called a pip install matplotlib. I already installed this one. However, if you want to, it may at the output of this command will be different from yours. If you install this one for the first time, it may shows me I already installed. Yeah, it's quickly done because it says already satisfied because I installed. Actually, these two are two packages. However, the matplotlib depends on the NumPy lab. So when you install the matplotlib, it automatically install all its dependencies like NumPy automatically. So you install one, it brings all its dependencies, and you satisfy the library requirement, so you can run it. Cool. You can see the output. Of course, you can run the same code in the Python notebook. You may want to try. That's for this tutorial. Always you can check the document and see more details. Okay, we don't create the virtual environment as explained in the document here, I believe. Yeah, here it uses some virtual environment because for different application you may need different packages. You don't want a big mess, but as a beginner we don't need to create this, so I make it a little bit simpler. That's it.